And so for number 5, they give you the equation. And it says you can find the amount of snow y in inches in X hours. So I'm going to write hours here and inches here, because when I put the labels next to the letters, it helps me figure out what's going on. We then have to identify the slope and the y-intercept and explain what each represents. So there's actually 4 parts. You have to find the slope and explain what it means. You have to find the y-intercept and explain what it means in the equation. So we're building right off of what we did last week. Slope we've been doing for a while, so we're going to start there. What is the slope in this equation? The slope is which one of those numbers in that equation, Faith? She's spot on. 0.2. How did you know that, Faith? Good. It's where the m is. The m is always next to the x. She's got it. Now, here's the part that I think is critical, that I get a lot of resistance. How do we find the slope? The slope is the what? How do I find it? It's the... It is the number before x. If I get a graph, how do I figure out what the slope is, Bree? It's the change in y over change in x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the labels. Inches per hour. Because it's y, which is measured in inches, over hours, which is what stands for x. That helps me because now I can explain this number. This means what? First of all, is it positive or negative? It's positive, so is it increasing or decreasing? Increasing. So, what's this even about? Because we have to know what the title of the graph would even be. So this is about what? We're going to write a sentence. What's this about in the story problem? Bree? Good. Accumulated snow right here. And so, the snow increases because it's positive. By what? What does our slope tell us? By good, Jill. 0.2, what's my label on it going to be? 0.2. Someone just said it. 0.2 what? Justice? Inches per hour. You, because it's a rate, have to include both labels or it's wrong. If you put the labels right here, it'll tell you what to write. You just have to make sure that you're saying it's increasing or decreasing if it's positive or negative. So the snow increases by 0.2 inches per hour. And I abbreviated, and you can as well. I got it, Mrs. Smith. Question. Yeah, we're not done with the whole thing yet. We're going to do y-intercept next. I understand the slope, because that's from last week. That makes sense to me. What's the y-intercept? What's your question? Please ask.
Okay, for the slope, why is it not 0,
Because slope is the change in y over change in x. That's our definition. It's our rate of change. So it has to be inches per hour because it matches our definition. That's a great question.
I thought it was 0. Or what was 0%?
Now, we're going to do y-intercept next. Okay? How do I find the y-intercept? Where is that in my equation? The y-intercept is which number? Colton. He is spot on. Now, this one is the 0 and the 3.5. Colton, where'd you get that number in our equation?
In the equation after 0.2x.
That's B. This one is M. So if you did not put in your long-term memory, I am not making you a flip chart and spending time cutting out stuff if it's not critical. Like, it's the most important thing. Those 15 things. Can I match them up? You have to know. I'm going to put hours is for X and inches is for Y. Because if I don't put the labels, I have a hard time figuring it out what this even means. Okay? So at 0 hours, I have 3.5 inches. Someone make a sentence that explains what the y-intercept means. Because they have to explain what it represents. So if it's 0 hours and 3.5 inches, all I did was put the labels. Hours was X, inches was Y. What do you think? Tell me.
I'm not sure if this is correct. Why?
Give me a guess.
And 0 hours and
You are so close. You are this close, but not quite. M?
oh, wait.
You can adjust it.
Okay, so in 0 hours, 2.5. I don't know.
It did not fail. It was already there. Yes, this is not a rate. This is just a straight up number. So that's right. At 0 hours, there were 3.5 inches of what? Of accumulated snow. Already there. That is key. And I'm going to tell you right now that I know Mr. Sloger in science with a bunch of science experiments. They do in one of his classes a bunch of linear things. And he has said to me, tell me, they're having a hard time putting the labels and knowing what it means. And I said, I will make sure I emphasize it because that is an 8th grade skill that I know, I'm telling you, you'll be revisiting as a freshman and as a sophomore. Because getting a number on your calculator or finding a point is worthless if you don't know what that means about your science experiment or about your budget or whatever the plan is. And so that's the one new step today. It's not actually anything new, but it's definitely one step trickier because you now have to say what it means. And understanding is one step harder for sure than identifying, which is all we did last week. And so you're going to do all the story problems on the back.